All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Zarina Elamine, and welcome to one of our Power Author discussions. This is where we get to meet a new author, learn more about their work, really hear about their challenges with their books, their goals, their ideas of really pushing their messages out there into the world. And then also sometimes we get into some controversial topics. But today I want to introduce us to a beautiful young lady who published her first book. And it's called Black Pearl. We're going to get into what that is, how she came up with that, all of that. So I'm super duper excited to have her here with us. But for those of you who are new to me and new to this platform, I run a company called Book Power Publishing. And Book Power Publishing is really all about helping people get their messages out of their head, down onto paper, and out there into the world. Like that's what we do. We do that very, very well. So I've been helping people publish books for a while. We have a team of editors, a team of designers, a team of everyone that you need in order to have a successful book. That's what we have here at Book Power Publishing. So a couple of announcements, if you will. We are setting up now for our January and March and summer of 2023 releases. March and summer of 2023 releases. So that means if you have a book and you've been sitting on it and you want to publish, now is the time to kind of get into our schedule so that we can prepare for your launch next year. Also, we have a couple of free workshops that are going to be coming up pretty soon, centered around my book, Book Power, which came out last year. Last year, I launched that book. So we have a couple of free workshops and such that are going to be coming out to just help you, people who have been thinking about it but not quite sure what goes into making a successful book. I'm going to do some free workshops to get you jump started, right? Get you jump started. All right, so for those of you who are joining us, I want you to type into the comments where you're joining from. We always like to be able to know where we are interacting. And I have this thing, I really feel like it's an energetic field. And I'm here in Michigan, I'm in Detroit, Michigan. And every time someone else joins, I imagine like a little line going from us to them, like a little bit of energy line, energy field going from us to them and kind of creating a cocoon, if you will, of support. So that's what we're going to be doing today, inshallah, God willing, God willing. So I'm going to bring in Sojhaila, and then I'm going to formally introduce her to you all. Assalamu alaikum, Sojhaila.
Islam, rahmatullahi. Hello.
Welcome to the Power Author platform. Welcome to the Power Author platform. All right, so we're going to talk about the book, but let me go ahead and read your bio to formally introduce you to our audience. So Sojhaila Muhammad is an author. She's a poet. She's a mentor and an artist. An entrepreneur, she is the owner of Halal Styles, which was established in 2015. Sojhaila loves helping others by any means necessary. A frequent volunteer, she has supported organizations such as the Pillars of the Community in San Diego, California, Time Done organization in Los Angeles, California, and recently founded the United Coalition for Muslim Women, a nonprofit organization. She enjoys studying her family, reading, and being adventurous. Black Pearl is her first book. In it, she speaks on Black history and the importance of being a Black Muslim woman. Her vision is to trailblaze a platform for other Black Muslim women and young adults to see themselves as powerful and know they can be successful with guidance from Allah. So welcome, Sojhaila.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It is so nice to actually get the chance to see you and talk to you because it's been a little while since we actually had like a real conversation.
It's almost a year. It'll be a year in August.
When did we publish this book? What was it?
It was published August 27th of last year.
August 27th. So almost a year. All right. So
Allah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun. That's how it is, you know?
Yes.
So where do you live in the States now?
Right now I'm in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. I moved here actually last June.
Okay.
I got remarried and I moved from I was in California for 3 years.
Mhm.
Had a divorce, and then I remarried and came to Georgia. Yeah, at the end of June. So yeah, my anniversary actually is in 2 weeks.
In
Mashallah.
2 weeks. So you had a lot of life going on when you were publishing this. Like it was a lot of newness happening.
It was a lot. It was a lot of this book was I think through hardship, through trauma, through trying to identify who I was, trying to get a grip on life, trying to hold on to my dean. It was a traumatic experience that I was dealing with. And honestly, I don't know how this book came about. I really don't. I know that it was an inspiration. I talked about briefly in my book, like one of my best friends for 8 years passed away from lupus. And I just felt like, man, I need to do something. And in that time, I had just came out of my IDA from my previous marriage. I
Explain
was
what that is. So that's like the waiting period after the
That's the waiting period. So it's like a 3 month waiting period between you and your spouse when things just don't work out. Um, I was 4,000 miles away from my home, from New Jersey, which I'm originally from. I was in California. That marriage, it wasn't the cut of the law. I was devastated, in the fact of that, just the whole ideal that I was dealing with. And on top of that, I was sick on top of having the IDA, where I had to get like 2 blood transfusions. I was in a hospital constantly. I had to have major surgery right after my divorce. And after that, I had to go to a rehabilitation center. And then after that, it was Ramadan. So then I was by myself. Then right after that, my best friend passed away. So it was a whole bunch of
string of life.
Yeah.
Tell everybody life be life, and man, when life be coming, it be like bam, bam,
coming.
bam, bam,
Yeah,
bam,
it's like no stopping, no stopping. I was like, and it was like a whirlwind. I was like of emotions. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who I was. I was depressed. I was distraught. And I was just asking Allah for guidance, right? And then in the midst of that, I began to, because I had to stay home to heal for like a month. So I began to get into my creativity because I'm an artist. So I was home drawing, and then I was just looking and saying like, hey, like there's no African American women that's represented, far as not a lot as far as with authors. There's not a lot as far as like, far as like any type of artist. And then the fact that my best friend passed away, and I'm just like, something needs to be said about women, right? And the struggles that we go through, especially being Muslim women, in America. And at the time I have a group on Facebook. It's a marriage group, and I started that group through pain, but it began to grow. And I had women just coming in with so many different problems on top of that. So I excluded my own desperate need of healing at that moment to advocate for others. And I'm like, I need to have something. And all of a sudden I just started writing, and I'm like, wow, like maybe I should just became a book, and then, I reached out to you and I made Isakata, and I'm like, Allah, this is for me. If this would be a benefit to the Ummah, then please make it easy. And it was only 3 months, right? I wrote the book 3 months.
It was quick. I didn't realize there was so much pain going on in your life at that time, though. A lot of times when clients come to me, a lot of clients sometimes have been thinking about writing books for a really long time, and they've been like pondering them, and it's been a long time coming type of thing. And that's not necessarily the case with you. Like yours was like a quick thing that was really born out of this sense of desperation and this sense of depression. But what I love about the fact that you're sharing this is because a lot of people go through those dark moments, and a lot of people don't really like to share about those times because either they're embarrassed or they feel like people are going to judge them or look down on them in some way. So here you did the opposite. Like you started a group which created a platform to discuss these things. But I'm wondering, like, did you ever have any fear of the judgment coming from the public?
As far as like with the book,
With the book, and also just like opening up your story a little bit.
with my story, yeah, because like to go back, like my problems stem. There's always a beginning to everything, right? And so I used to be ashamed, but I'm no longer ashamed because out of my pain, right? I feel like there's a mercy from Allah, but then out of that pain, Allah gives you that for a lesson, but to help someone else, right? And so I come from a history of abuse, right? I come from a history of physical abuse. I come from a history of being molested, being raped. You know what I mean? So I come from a strain of different type of pain in that. And so I always held it inside. Like I never knew who I was. I never knew what my purpose was, right? I always tried to be perfect in the eyes of other people. And so when I began to open up to speak about the reality of who I was, I wasn't afraid what the backlash was going to be, right? Because this is something that Allah has brought forth, right? And so if I offer istikhara, which is the prayer to Allah, and I ask Allah that if it's good for my life and good for my deen, then make it easy, and it was birthed out of that, then I believe I don't care any negative comments about this book, right? Because it was going to reach somebody, and it's going to be healing to somebody. It's going to be a blessing to someone, right? And so I just left it in the hands of Allah, and I just took a deep breath. I'm like, I don't know where this money is going to come from, how I'm going to get it, but Allah, you're going to make it work. And then I just put my trust in Allah. So I don't really worry about backlash. And there's been some backlash because people, some people, their problem is, oh, why are you writing a pro-Black book? It's not a pro-Black book. We have to understand our history. It's more than just the stem of being pro-Black. There's a lot of wisdom in this book. There's a lot of reminders in this book. There are stories from women who have overcame and surpassed traumatic events in their lives, and their stories are beautiful, because where they were and where they are at the moment, these are beautiful stories that anyone can identify with, whether they're Muslim or not Muslim. Mm-hmm.
So I want to bring up the cover real quick so everybody can see it. Then we're going to talk about like how you ended up naming this book Black Pearl. Let's see, where is it? Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Okay, so here we are. So here's the cover, you all. Black Pearl, Muslim Women of Color. And that's the beautiful Sojhaila on the cover.
I know, right?
So
I was like, no. You was like, no, this is not good. Get something. Because at first I had someone else's picture on there. And I'm like, well, she's beautiful. But then that didn't work out. He was like, no, maybe just put myself. How about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment. You had a beautiful image of a friend, I think it was one of your friends, and you were like, hey, this is what I want for the cover. And, we talk about ownership. When you talk about publishing, you have to talk about ownership because we cannot use any images or materials that come from anyone else that we don't have proper ownership of, right? We can't just put it on there, even if we think it's beautiful or whatever. So that was something that was important for this particular project. And what I appreciated about you was that you didn't give like a whole bunch of pushback. Like, no, I want this. You said, okay, what do I need to do? And so then we came up with this. So where did the name, though, this Black Pearl, where did you get that idea, that name? Because I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
I got the name from just looking at who we are, right, as Muslim women of color, right? And just the dynamics of the Black Pearl. If anyone has ever done any history or looked at the Black Pearl, is a unique pearl, right? But it comes in a stream of different colors. So it's unique, but there's varies of colors and shades in that Black Pearl. And they're only distinct, right? And they're hidden. So a lot of people don't know about that Black Pearl because it comes from a Pacific oyster out of the mouth of the oyster. But the Black Pearl is what I see my Muslim women of color. They're beautiful. You know what I mean? They're hidden, they're not really at the forefront like they need to be. But if you look at the stray and all the different cultures and just the stray of different, like the types of the skin tone, we're beautiful, you know, and we should be proud. And it's something that I think, like, as far as like with young women or young adults or adolescents, and they need to see themselves, right?
Mm.
They need, and then there's no, I don't think so. They need to see themselves, need to be proud of who they are. So that's what I see when I think of us. I think of us being black pearls because we're beautiful inside and out, you know. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. So for those of you who have not picked up the book yet, you can head on over to Amazon. And I should have got the link, but you can go over to Amazon and just type in Black Pearl Muslim Women of Color, and it will come up, and you can grab a copy. You can grab a copy of Sojhaila's first book. This is not going to be her only book. Like once you get bit by the bug,
that's
and
it, right?
you get bit.
We already talked about that. Like, I'm ready
Yeah.
for like the second sequel that's talking about the men, and inshallah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you. So, okay, in this particular book, you have a mixture of things. Like you said earlier, you have some parts about some historical things from your perspective. You talk about the Moors, you talk about history of the word black. You go into some of that type of background, and then you go into like some stories of other women who have overcome things in their life. And then you also added some of the art that you talked about, that you were like doing drawings and you're an artist. You added some of the art in there as well. So it's a mixture. It's not just like one type of book. And what has been the response? Like, what has been the response so far?
MashaAllah. Everyone who has purchased my book has nothing but good things to say about it. When I mean, like, when the book first came out, I had little setbacks, and I'm just like, man, it's not pushing, it's not doing anything. But then I had to learn how to have sabr, right? Because Allah knows the perfect time when things are going to go forth. But then all of a sudden there was a shift. I don't know how it happened or where the shift happened, but people start getting the books, and they start like sending me messages, and then like so many sisters like, mashallah, like this book is amazing. And it's just like, wow, like this really they transformed. Like, it's really been a blessing. And I have not even once had anything bad to say about this book at all. At all. Yeah.
I'm starting to get emotional. I don't know what's going on in my little middle age. I get more emotional now, but like I really do. I start to feel, and I feel a sense of extreme happiness that when people put out books, a lot of times, you have some folks that are like, it's not a success if it doesn't hit Wall Street Journal, or if it doesn't hit New York Times levels and stuff. Like, it's not a success if you don't get those big accolades. And it can sometimes get caught up in this world of social media and how many likes do you have and all of that kind of stuff. Like the impact that regular everyday people are making with their messages and with their ideas and with their thoughts and with their work. Sometimes it can get like lost, in the shuffle, because people start to think about, you got to have this and you got to have that. So when I hear about people sending you messages like unsolicited, it's not that you're out there like, hey, send me messages. Like, these are unsolicited messages that they're sending to you because your work impacted them. Like, Sojhaila, that's absolutely beautiful. What you've created right now is already Sadaqah Jariyah. It's something that will continue to benefit you long time coming, hopefully into perpetuity. So just how does that feel for you as somebody who was going through all this pain, all this drama, like you're stuck in the house, you're trying to heal, and then you get these ideas, you put them down, and you actually follow along with the idea of publishing, and then now, you're getting unsolicited requests and things.
You know what, with me, I don't allow things to get to my head, right? I ask Allah constantly to keep me humble. Yeah. And so, like, the main purpose, the overall purpose of this book was dedicated to my best friend who died for 8 years, because out of all the stories and out of everything that I explained, she was a black pearl to me, right? She dealt with so much, far as like having lupus for 7 years, right? In the whole 7 years that I've known her, never once did she complain. She thought of her illness, her terminal illness was a blessing from Allah to get her into Jannah. And I remember like there were times where she would be in the hospital because she was always in the hospital constantly, and I would break down and cry. And she was like, we're gonna have a house in Jannah, inshallah. Habibati, like it's okay, And so when I actually thought about the book and when it was like almost finished and complete, I'm like, wow, like what can I do? Like I don't. It's not for the sales for me, right? Because I want my intentions to be pure, right? Yeah, you're gonna make money, but it's not. That's not the reason why I wrote the book. I wrote the book for others, but then I want it to be sadaqah, so that every time someone picks up this book, is a dua in the beginning of the book, and it will be duas on her behalf, and it'll be a constant sadaqah that's going up. You know what I mean? That Allah will make her grave spacious. And so the 24th of this month was a year that she's been gone, and so I read the chapter because the first chapter in the book that's dedicated to the women, she's the first sister that I wrote about, and I just broke down, right? Because she was so beautiful, and I'm like, wow, like I hope that that this is pleasing to Allah, you know what I mean? And I hope that my intentions stay pure, and I don't ever want to get to a place where I feel like my head is too big or I'm this or I'm that. I'm just a slave of Allah, right? Mm-hmm. And so this book has nothing to do with money, nothing to do with fame. It's like an outreach, but at the same time, it's for her. So that's how I just look at it.
Love it. So I'm just going to bring up some of the comments. Sister Afra said, the title is genius. I agree. She also said, SubhanAllah, may Allah make it a healing for you and others. One of your friends said, I need a new shirt with a new cover. Do you have a t-shirt with the cover on it?
So when I first when I first did the when it was the other sister picture I was gonna do in the book, because she had told me I could use her picture. So I made t-shirts, but then I couldn't use it anymore. And I was like, well, okay, I just won't make any t-shirts. So I never thought about like that's out for me.
Yeah, you gotta make a new one. They asking for it. I love it. So, okay, so you've been kind of, as you mentioned in the beginning, it was a little bit slow for what you were expecting, like as far as outreach and things like that, but stuff just started picking up. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you have coming up down the pipe surrounding the book?
So as far as the book, I know in August 14th, inshallah, I'll be traveling back to Jersey. I actually was in Jersey for Ramadan. I went back home to Jersey to visit my father, and I went to a masjid, and so I brought some of my books with me. I bought like 20 books, and in 2 days I sold out from all the sisters that was in the masjid. And so there was one sister, she was saying that her niece was given it's like a ball, a banquet. So I'm gonna inshallah, I'll go back there August 14th to do vending, and also she said I could have an opportunity to speak to the sisters as well. So inshallah.
So hey, hold on 1 second. I smell something burning in my house.
Run, girl, run.
Hold on.
Mashallah.
It's not.
That's okay.
What's that burning? Yeah, don't do that.
Mashallah.
Straight burning popcorn. Like you don't cook popcorn in the stove when I'm not there. Like, what makes you think that you could just go down there and start cooking popcorn at 9:45?
I like burnt popcorn. I do. I'm weird.
You like everything black. That's it. You like everything black. Hey, I want to call Issa. All right. So, yes. All right. So, so you have some things coming down the pipe, but I wanted to ask you a question about like the selling, because I know when I first put my first book out, like when I used to be peddling my books, if you will, like carrying them around with me, and I always keep them. Even now, you know, you always keep some books in the car because you never know who might want or what opportunity may come up. But I did have this like real. I used to have this like anxiety type of feeling around selling. I'm not a natural salesperson. I'm a natural like give, 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 give. But when you're doing entrepreneur and you have to, you know, sell as well, sometimes it used to bring up this little weird feelings for me that I had to learn how to work through. So I'm wondering for you, like, do you get any weird feelings like
all
going?
the time?
You do. So how do you work through them?
I don't know. I use other people.
Like what? What you mean?
So I'm just like my husband. I'm like, we went somewhere. I'm like, go ahead and go talk to that person for me. But like when I went to the masjid, I had the book out, so I was like, okay, because I'm not really good with marketing. So I brought books with me to the masjid and I had it out. And my sister was like, oh, what's that? I'm like, oh, this is my book. You should just like look at it. And I just told her about it. Then other sisters came. My other sisters came. That was just how I did that. But like far as like on a daily thing, like I'm shy, but I'm not shy, which is weird, right? So I'm just like outgoing, but there's certain things I'm shy. So I'm still working on a way to present my book so then it can reach the places that it needs to reach, right? And so I haven't gotten that idea as of yet. So, but inshallah, like I will be able to come up with, okay, you got to come out of this fear, right? You got to come out of this, you know, what if I say the wrong thing, or how do I present my book? Just do it. This is something I should be proud of, right? And so if I'm proud of something, I should present it. And if I'm presenting it, I should know like, hey, maybe you need to, this is a book, maybe you want to check it out. Like, have you heard about such and such? And, you know, or this, or did you know this about the Moors, or, you know, stuff like that. But I've been doing a lot of promotion on Facebook. And actually I have two sisters who are doing book clubs. One sister did a book club, and she did my book, and then there's another sister now that's going to do a book club with some sisters she know this month. So yeah, they're going to be doing a book club. So that's how the word is getting around.
I love it. I love it. So, you know, one of the things that we teach our authors is always that when you're looking to market, you have like a 3-tier marketing. One, you start with your own network. So these are the people that you individually are connected to, your friends, your family, your coworkers, anyone that you have direct contact to, right? And that's exactly what you're describing that you did. Hey, talk to your husband, go, you know, do this. Hey, like, you know what I mean? The people that you are connected to. And then the second tier are the people that your people are connected to. So your people's people, these are your friends now that set up a book club. So then you didn't necessarily have access to all of those book club members directly, but your friend did. And so now you're reaching out into the second tier, right? Your friends' friends. And then the third level will be influencers and others who have their finger on a large concentration of your target audience. So people that have a lot of Muslim women, right? And so you connect with them, and then that gets you in front of their platform. So this like organic way of building a network and a community around your book is what I see you like enacting. But what do you think about your Facebook group? It seems to me like that would be a natural place to just continue to add people, and then whoever is in your group, you know, gets interested in your book, and you use that. What are your thoughts about that?
What I realized, what I've seen, that, you know, there are some supporters, right? But then there are some that say they are supporters, but they're really not supporters, right? And so I have to just try to do my due diligence to find a way to just get it out more, you know, as far as with the Facebook. But I haven't come up with that concept yet, because right now my life has been chaotic, right? And so once I'm able to breathe, and I think like this month, because I took like a month off of school, like one of my schools, so because I want to focus on more how to solicit and how to market my book, because I want to come up with a better strategy. Like I want this book to be in the hands of someone, you know, maybe someone with like you said, with a larger plateau, maybe inshallah outside of Facebook, you know what I mean, to reach, if it's the will of Allah, to reach the masses, right? Not saying that would happen, but I want to turn this book maybe to be like educational, if they ever come to like retreats or like sister groups or something like that. Even like just men have an ability to have an understand and read this as well, right? Because it's a history not just for women, it's a history for men as well, right? And so my dua is asking Allah to guide me so that I can meet those people that He needs me to meet. Sorry, I can meet those people that He needs me to meet. And you know what I mean? So then everything could flow the way that it needs to flow.
Yeah, may Allah make that so for you. Yeah, you know, like one of the things with that is just pitching, right? Giving your list of all the people that you want to contact, either bloggers or other influencers or podcasters, all that kind of stuff. Like you get a list of organizations, people who lead organizations. You get a list, and literally you just pitch, right? So you may send out an email or, you know, connecting type of request for a conversation to 30 people, and you may get only 5 people that respond or something, right? But those 5 people then lead to other things and such. So
yeah,
it's a lot of energy and work that goes into marketing, but you can definitely do it with organic means, organic ways or such. So
yeah.
All right, so let's see. Does anyone have any questions? For those of you who are here with Sojhaila Muhammad, author of Black Pearl, Muslim Women of Color. If any of you all have any questions for Sojhaila, now is the time as well. And go get the book. Go to Amazon, buy the book, Black Pearl, Black Muslim Women of Color. And after you get it, I want you then to leave a review. So she has like, I think 13 5-star reviews or something.
It should be more than that. It should be. I think a lot of people are forgetting. So like the couple of people who are doing my book clubs, doing book clubs with my book. I asked one sister because she's starting this month, like to put a post for the sisters to do the book review. You know what I mean, at the end. But I think a lot of people don't really think about it. You know, so I mean, but it's fine though. It's fine.
A lot of people don't, but. You know, the fact that you have 13 is actually is good. Really, Sojhaila. Like, I don't know if you know, but it's actually a good number without you doing any like mass publicity or mass marketing or anything like that. So kudos to you.
Yeah. It was 5 stars, but now it's like 4.8.
Oh, you probably got one hater. I remember on my first book.
Yeah, I do. I know who it is, but it's okay.
It's always one. It's always one. This guy, I remember my first book, I almost wanted to be like, why you even leave a review? You was going to leave a jacked up review. Like, go away. Like, don't even come. But he left this like 3-star review based off of not even my book, but like a piece of the research that I was presenting. Like, he didn't like that research. And so
he gave you a 3?
Yeah, he gave me a 3-star review and then brought my stuff down. And I started like, don't even come. Just don't come.
I already know who the hater is. It's okay. It's all right.
You always got one. But, you know, that's cool.
They're good, though. We need haters, right? Because they help us get to our purpose. Bring them on, right? So all the haters, thank you. Thank you.
What Cardi B say? She was like, my haters, you know, they buy my stuff. She said they buy my music to listen to my music and talk bad about my music. But it still benefits me.
It does. Because it makes you go harder. So a lot of people, like, they don't like that word hater. But no, let's embrace them. Like, come on. There was a lecture I listened to. And so the sheikh, he was like, if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong. If you don't have people hating on you, haters, he's like, look at the prophet, the haters that was around him. If you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong. You got to be doing something right for somebody to be like, well, I don't like her. Why, you know what I mean? And sometimes I think sometimes with people is like, because you're doing something that they wanted to do, but they didn't get a chance to do it.
That's true. That's true. You often, I tell all of our authors this because it's a big fear, you know, like when you're putting yourself out there creatively and you don't know what the response is going to be, you don't know how people are going to take it and what they're going to say or whatever. Like it can cause a lot of fears around those feelings and such. But it's just part of the process. It's just you're always going to have some people that come up and say negative stuff, and you're always going to have some people that say positive things. But I like what you said is that you don't let either one of them like get to your head. You don't, you ask a lot to keep you humble, but then
Yeah,
you also realize that you're going to have people that say stuff on the other side too.
yeah. Plus, I have too much stuff going on. I don't have time to worry about
You don't have time to worry about that.
my
So
life. I got too much going on.
yeah, let me have time for the haters. So do you, boo?
I am.
So what's next for you?
So, well, right now I'm in school, right? So I'm getting my associates in legal studies. So, inshallah, a couple years I'll be a lawyer. That's doing great. That's doing great. I'm still at a 4.0.
Congratulations.
Mashallah, mashallah. I'm at a 4.0. And it was crazy because my last class was this. I don't even know how I passed that class, but it was Allah. It was Allah. So 4.0, I'm taking an intermediate Arabic. I got a scholarship to take Arabic for the schools called Ria Institute. Is in Egypt, so I got a free scholarship, so I'm taking that.
Wait, is it in Egypt or is virtual?
It's in Egypt, but it's online though. It's
okay.
Online. Yeah, so I just got accepted a scholarship for that, so I'm doing that at the same time. Trying to do my book. I was asked to do a women's retreat soon. That's coming up in the end of July 28th to August 2nd, I believe. Is a young women's retreat. So I was asked to do a segment with mental health. I was asked to do a segment speaking about one of the wives of the prophet. I'm going to help just be I don't know what committee I'm going to be on, but yeah, I was asked, so I'm jumping on board with that. So that's going to be kind of busy. So yeah, I'm just like this busy.
It's good. It's all
It's
good
good.
stuff.
Yeah, it's all good. And the crazy part, like when I was in California and I was just not saying that when I was in my first marriage, like no doors were open for me. Everything was difficult, right? And so that's why I try to tell some sisters, like sometimes when Allah causes you to leave that situation, sometimes we hold on to that, but we don't realize that the blessing that Allah has for us, right? My book would not be here if I didn't obey Allah, right? If I didn't offer istikhara to, the dua to the best of my ability with sincere, like Allah, I need you to help me heal. I need you to remove my feelings and help me to go forth. And when I became obedient to Allah, all the doors that are opening right now for my life is, and it may be not significant to others, but it's mashallah to me because I was not able to do anything for 3 years when I was in California. No doors were open. As soon as that the period was over, it's like barakas are just coming in. Barakas are coming in. Like it's just amazing. And I'm meeting amazing people. He's removing some people when he's replacing better people, and so I'm just seeing like just for my obedience to Allah, what he's doing in my life.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mashallah.
So Shahada asked, she said, I see in the overview the book is described as controversial. Have you received backlash or a concept or something from the book? And that was the word that I used, controversial, because I won't say negatively, but I'll say that some people had some things to say as far as like the Black portion. Can you just mention that again for Sister Shahada?
So far as like with the controversial, well, I think the controversy comes from those who are not, those who I focus especially on African American history, right? And so a lot of backlash came for me being pro-Black. It's not me being pro-Black. I think that there's no race in Islam, right? But at the same time, why can't I, right, being a African American Muslim woman, right? Why can't I advocate for my sisters in Islam who deal with so much strife, right? and are pushed to the back and not allowed to speak, why can't I be an advocate for them, right? Why can't we understand our history, right? Because right now, at the present moment, African American history is taken out of the schools. They're being taken out of the colleges, and they're being taken out of university. I asked there's one person in the book that I talked about, which is I can't remember his name. Let me look at my book. Oh, Master Musa.
Just
Mansa
like
Musa.
right. Oh, Mansa Musa, yeah.
There's not a lot of people who know about him. There's not a lot of people know that he was the richest man, right? Richest Muslim man in the year 1312, 1329, because it's been taken out of history, right? And so when people, like when my book first came out, and some Muslims were like, well, this is not about racism. Why should write it? You don't even know the content of what's going on in the book. You're just going by the title, right? And you're going by the picture in the book. It's more depth in this besides of what I'm saying, what you see. So I don't allow that to bother me, right? I don't allow people's opinions or what people say about my book to bother me, because I know what my intentions are and I know what I'm trying to do. So it's always going to be controversial, right? And so regardless of what you do, it's always going to be someone that's always going to have something negative to say about what you're doing. She's not walking right. Her shoes are not right. Her hair is not right. Her hijab is not right. Like nothing. Someone's always going to have something to say. But long as you're doing the best you can do to please your Rabb, that's all that matters, right? And that's how I look at it.
I thank you for that, and I think for the beautiful thing about writing and being an author in general is that you can bring whatever message you feel is necessary and is not present. You fill the voice, and when you think about books, you think about knowledge. You have to have books that are on specific groups of people. Specific, specified knowledge is so key and so important. And if somebody else wants to write another book on some other type of subject, they can do that. Like they can go and write whatever book they want to write. Exactly. But the thing that I love about what you just said, as well, is that for your whole story, one of the themes that I'm taking away is like obedience to God. Obedience. You mentioned that several times, that you were obedient. He gave you a message to start writing, and you actually started writing. Gave you a message to like go and share it, and you actually shared it. Like I think that obedience and listening is one of the things that's probably allowing so many more doors and such to start opening up, for you. And all of us, like I'm in the middle of transitions right now in my own personal life, right? And so every time I listen to one of my clients speak, I really, truly, 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 truly believe that Allah sends each and every one of you all specifically for me, because you have something that I'm supposed to learn, like something I'm supposed to get out of all of you all, and you're enhancing me and making me, a better person. And one of the things that I'm taking from you, Sojhaila, just so you know, like, is this idea of being obedient and like listening and really cleaning myself up while listening to God. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so I'm gonna give you any final words, any final things that you want to say to your people.
I want to say, just with everything, just be, first and foremost, be true to yourself, right? Accept the flaws, accept those things about you that may make you feel uncomfortable, and know it's okay not to be perfect. To love yourself through the imperfection, to understand that everything that you're going through, all the pain, heartache, is a blessing that's birthed out of that. Sometimes we don't see that in the midst of turmoil, but we have to understand that there's not a person that's not tested, and Allah says that. So everything we endure is a test, right? It's a test to see how we're going to deal with it. It's a test with sabr. It's a test because Allah wants us to go to Him, right? Every test that we deal with is for us. It's not always a bad thing, right? Because Allah is just the love that Allah has for us, right? And so take those moments, take those times where we're having a hard time. And the more that we dealing with things, go before you're up, have more conversations with him, make Issachar about every single thing. It doesn't matter. Should I go to the store today? Should I do this today? Have a relationship with your Rab? Like 2 months ago, I started doing that. I'll get up like, Allah, today is not a good day for me. And this is how I talk to him. And like, could you guide me? Like, even with school, like I had to withdraw from school today because it was just so much for my class. And I'm like, well, Dad, should I do it? Because if I do it, what are my GPA? So last night after Isha, I made Issachar, Allah, like, I have a lot on my plate right now. I need a breather. Like, should I do this? Should I not? Like, I don't know, but I'm going to give it to you. This morning, I said, okay, I'm just going to see. Call. They're like, okay, no problem, Miss Muhammad. Your GPA is still going to be the same. You can just take this later, and everything went smoothly. So just have a relationship with Allah. Love yourself, love, the things about you. Do not worry about the next person. Do not worry about who likes you, who don't like you. And if there's a vision, if there's something in you that you want to explore, go before Allah and let Allah guide you. And keep people out of your ear, and keep your circle small,
Small and tight and supportive.
Tight like a fist.
I love it. All right, Miss Lady. So for those of you who have enjoyed listening to Miss Sojhaila, I'm going to ask you all to go over to Amazon and pick up a copy of her book, Black Pearl, Muslim Women of Color. And then after you read it, leave her a review. But if you're going to leave a whack review, don't leave a review. Just leave good reviews, right?
Don't do nothing. Don't do that.
Yeah. But and then you can always send her messages and things like that. But thank you, Sojhaila, for inspiring us, for sharing your messages with us. May Allah continue to put blessing around you. May Allah continue to give you angels of support and open up so many doors to you. And continue to protect you and keep you humble while you are ascending. We see your ascension. We see you elevating. We see you getting closer. And we know that brings a lot that comes with it. And we want to ask that Allah continues to protect you as you continue to ascend and give you an abundance of all the good things, inshallah.
Ameen, inshallah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Love you all. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum.